the eyes of college lacrosse focus squarely on Stevenson-Pinson's Field here in Providence as the Brown Bears, number 4 nationally, play host to the number 1 Yale Bulldogs. And hello everyone from a breezy Stevenson-Pinson's here at Brown. I'm Mike Rubin alongside Mike Mancuso. It's great to have you with us for what has been really looming as the game of the year, Mike. Everyone is looking forward to this one.
Oh, I know everyone on the field's been looking forward to this one. We've been looking forward to it. It's going to be phenomenal, and I just can't wait for this one to start.
Brown and Yale, it's been one of those great rivalries over the years, a game that Yale has actually owned over the last few years. But today, for Brown, really one of the guys trying to right the ship against the Bulldogs and keep this unbeaten Ivy record intact, Dylan Malloy.
Yeah, Dylan Malloy has been an absolute stud this year. Last year's Ivy League Player of the Year. Number 1 in the nation in goals, assists, and points right now. He could shoot on the run, can shoot from all kinds of different angles. Mike, so deadly. A very physical player as well. He could bull dodge if necessary. Has one heck of a rocket of a shot, pinpoint accuracy. And, of course, he's improved his game as a feeder as well, Mike, as he's become the premier assist man right now in the entire nation.
Well, the Bears don't get it done entirely on the attack, though the attack is pretty much one of the main storylines for the Brown Bears. Between the pipes, they get a pretty good one as well, Mike.
Yeah, honorable mention All-American last year, Jack Kelly. He could stop the low shots. He could stop the high shots. Basically, he sees it, he's going to stop it. And, of course, Mike, he's a master of collecting those ground balls that leads to the Bears' transition offense. Such a big key in that part of the Bears' game.
And one of the top save percentages in the country. In fact, Mike, the best guy in the country.
Yeah, number 1 right now coming into today's game.
And, of course, Yale, they're not number 1 for no reason. This attack has been led all year long by the reigning Ivy League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Ben Reeves, an absolute stud on the other end of the field. Number 2 nationally in points with 50. He's got a very sweet lefty finish, Mike. Could also connect on those one-timers. And, of course, he loves to curl around from behind the crease, Mike. Makes it very difficult for goalies to stop when he comes from that left side of the crease. Again, that sweet release, it's so difficult to stop.
Yale had a hiccup a couple of weeks ago. They were really needed a late rally against the Penn Quakers to keep this unbeaten record intact. Since then, they've won 2 in a row in blowout fashion, and they've done it with a different goaltender.
Yeah, they have. They've really had some issues in between the pipes because Phil Hufford was injured a couple weeks ago, so stepping in had been Hoyt Krantz, but Hufford, it looks like, is going to get the start today. He's been phenomenal when he's been on the field for the Bulldogs. Of course, Hoyt Krantz, if needed, the Bulldogs know that they can call upon him. He played well in the 2 wins last week against Sacred Heart and Dartmouth.
Well, looked like Hufford was ready to go as he led the trio of Yale goaltenders out to the field this afternoon. And when we return, we'll have the opening face-off and the first quarter for what could very well be an instant classic as the Brown Bears hosting Yale, a couple of Ivy League heavyweights. And we welcome you back to Stevenson-Pinson's Field here at the campus of Brown University alongside Mike Mancuso. I'm Mike Rubin here on the Ivy League Digital Network and ESPN3. We welcome you back. Will Garral and Jonathan Reese at center for the opening face-off. The Bears wearing the home whites, brown numerals, red trim. Yale in the road, navy blues and whites. And the Bulldogs have won the opening face-off. We are underway here in Providence. Ball played up to Riley Nathan, the long pull shot, the score! So Yale getting on the board very quickly. Just 14 seconds in, they win a face-off, and the long pull, Riley Nathan giving the Bulldogs the lead.
Yeah, maybe a little bit unexpected that time, the shot coming from the long pull of Nathan. That is just his 2nd goal of the season, but a big one to give the Bulldogs the early 1-0 lead.
Mike, we hadn't even had a chance to talk about keys, and one of them really is at center with Will Garral for the Bears and Jonathan Reese for Yale.
Yeah, up until the Bryant game, which he did not play, Garral had been one of the top 2 face-off men in the country. Had a little bit of a tough game against Penn last week, and the Bears hoping to get him back on track.
And he wins his 2nd face-off of the day, and the Bears will go to work on the attack, attacking right to left. Yale spotted a 1-0 early lead. Matt Graham onto the field for the Bears. Again, Brown wearing the home whites. Yale, the road navy blues.
Well, Mike, one of the keys to the game, Coach Tiffany really talking about it. 6-on-6, the half-field set for the Bears. We know what they can do in transition. Can they do it 6-on-6 and sustain possessions?
Dylan Malloy, the feed. Tills had the ball pop out of his stick. And Blinn resets for Tills. Bears still have Garral at X. And waiting to try and get Brendan Caputo as the first minute has expired here in Providence. Bull dodge. Malloy spins back, loses the handle, and ball picked up by the netminder Phil Hufford. And Yale will attempt to clear.
Yeah, Malloy got chopped there right in front of the crease. I believe it was Michael Quinn, Mike, who's one of the top defensemen in the league and in the nation, depending on who you ask. Of course, a lot of Landis fans from Notre Dame might beg to differ, but Quinn getting the best of Malloy, that's going to be a key matchup here today.
Good ride out of the Bears. Ball whipped downfield and scored! Bears with a 10-man ride, but no, they're taking it off as Yale was offsides. Christopher Keating taking the shot from his own restraining line, and Yale is unhappy.
Yeah, they are. Coach Andy Shea on the field there discussing it with the official. They're trying to figure it all out, but no goal, the initial call, and I believe it's going to stand, Mike. So we'll have to see if the Bears be a little bit more careful when they go to the full 10-man ride. Kelly leaving the net that time. Yale nearly making them pay, but the Bears fortunate. Yale offsides.
Well, I was watching both Keating, who took the shot, and Brendan Mackey, who was in on the change for Yale, and I think he had just stepped to the wrong side of midfield. Jack Kelly with the ball on his cross will loop it downfield to Dylan Malloy in the near side corner. He works in against Keating. Takes a feed in front and threw it away. Graham will try and keep it between the stripes. Lost his footing. Ball's out of bounds, and it'll be Brown ball, as they'll say. I believe Quinn on that far side slid out of bounds. Bears will reset. A lot of nervous energy on the field, Mike, from the Bears, I think, thus far. Trying to knock off Yale for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, you got to go all the way back to 2009. The Bears' last win over the Bulldogs, 13-9. So obviously no one here on the field wearing the white today has beaten this Yale team.
Graham winds up the jump shot, picked out of the sky. Again, a nice look for that time Blinn. Encyclo
That's
push.
gotta be a push,
yeah, and they'll get the call. Blinn will reset. You can hear the wind blustering along here in Providence. The game time temperatures were in maybe the high 50s, but on the field, a bit blustery today.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to go down there before the game, and it was still very windy at field level. And like you said, blustery, Mike, swirling around here at Stevenson-Pinsence.
Malloy the feed. Ballistri the shot, saved by Hufford. Ground ball, Malloy takes another shot. It whips wide, and it'll be backed up by Henry Blinn.
Well, Mike, that was huge, I think, for Yale, getting Phil Hufford back in between the pipes. I know Hoyt Krantz won the 2 games against Sacred Heart and Dartmouth, but has definitely not faced an attack like this. You want a netminder like Hufford in between the pipes for you.
Hufford coming in 6th nationally, 6.76 his goals against, in part because of a very good D in front of him. Tills for Malloy, bulls his way in, the shot saved by Hufford. Blinn trying to get to the ground ball, he loses his footing. Sliding over came Tyler Warner of Yale, comes up with the ball and will throw it back towards his own crease where Mark Gilsini will work upfield trying to clear for Yale. And he will in fact complete the clear. Here comes Larkin Kemp, and Kemp picks up the ground ball.
Yeah, great substitution there. Malloy came off, Kemp right onto the field. Easy cause turnover for him. Yale never saw it coming, Mike. Now the Bears trying to get on the board for the first time today.
Ballistri, Caputo, and now Kemp will check off for Bailey Tills. 11:15 and counting left here in quarter number 1. Caputo with the ball out towards midfield. Works toward the restraining line right to left. Tries to work his way in on Jason Alessi. Turns back Ballistri. Slide step. Lost his footing. Lost the ball as it was taken away by Camer Martini. And here comes Yale back the other way.
Yale, big time numbers here. Bears are going to have to hustle.
And a score! Beats Jack Kelly. And the Bulldogs out to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Alessi, the bounce shot that time. Really no one picking him up in transition. Able to take it right down the middle of the field. There was the turnover by Ballistri, the quick transition by the Bulldogs. And again, this Bulldogs team known so much for their defense, but their offense also getting it done this year, Mike. They average over 13 goals per game. As you mentioned earlier, that's 6th best in the nation. And when you're only giving up about 6.5 per contest, Mike,
you're going to win a lot of games.
You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to be undefeated coming into this point in the season.
2-0 Yale early as we come back to the face-off X. Garral lost his footing. Off the wing came Jake Miller of the Bears. He is held up and
should be a push
a hold.
Or a hold.
Yep,
yep,
there's the hold.
Poison there.
Face-off win for Brown, and it's like they are going to set him back to midfield.
Well, interesting keeping Miller out there with the long pole on this offensive set. Garral still out there trying to get Caputo back on.
Now here comes Miller, as you mentioned, off, and on comes Tills. And now Brown going to Stephen Hudak in place of Graham, who had played the first couple of possessions for Brown. About 5 minutes gone. Bears trailing 2-0 here in Providence. Caputo in front. The turn, the shot bounces wide and backed up by Brown's Bailey Tills.
And Mike, very impressed. The quick slides by the Yale defense. They are cutting off almost all the shooting lanes for the Bears, making it very difficult to get anything in on Hufford.
Tills, Malloy, tough pass. Caputo the score!
Oh, what a rip!
Tills was able to, or rather Malloy was able to pick it up after a tough pass from Tills, kept it going. Brendan Caputo the finish.
11th of the season for Caputo comes at 5:04 of the first quarter. An absolute laser beam right underneath the crossbar.
So the Bears get the much needed next one in a 2-0 early start. And Yale.
And again, we haven't even seen Yale at 6-on-6 on the offensive end.
No, I was just about to say.
Both
Yale
their goals
really,
in transition.
Yeah,
one off the face-off and the second one off the turnover.
I was going to say, Yale really hasn't had an opportunity to show us their attack.
I don't think Reeves or Simbalista has touched the ball yet today.
On the face-off, it's ground ball pickup for Alec Tullett, ahead for Garral. Here come the running Bears. Garral in front, shot score! Garral for Henry Blinn, and Brown very quickly has tied the game at 2.
Bang, bang, the Bears with two quick ones. Henry Blinn picks up goal number 28 on the season there to tie things up. That one coming at 5:15. Here it is, a nice feed just outside the crease, and Blinn with the finish. 5:15 the time of the goal, just 11 seconds transpired between those two Brown tallies. Of course, Brown Alumni Day here as well for men's lacrosse.
Probably the best crowd we have seen here for lacrosse or soccer in maybe the last couple of years. Certainly, I remember a couple of years ago, Brown-Dartmouth men's soccer game was on the with the Ivy League title on the line. This one very much similar to that, in that Brown and Yale playing for the inside track to the Ivy League championship. We're going to get a push on the Bears and a face-off thus controlled by the Bulldogs. Gilcini ahead, and that's going to be the Yale attacks turn to go to work. Here's Jack Ty. Looks to swing back, picked up by John Yazzo Scaparata of the Bears, out to Michael Kesey, and he'll give it to Brendan Mackey as we have Eric Scott, the third midfielder for the Bulldogs.
And again, keep an eye on the number 2, Ben Reeves, the second leading point scorer in the nation. Of course, Simbalista, who's owned the Bears the last 2 years, 7 goals in the 2 games they played last season.
Out it comes Mackey, being watched by Brown's Brewster Warble. And the Bulldogs will rotate it around counterclockwise, coming back to Eric Scott. Scott tries to work his way in on Tullett. Tullett showing a lot of length from the long pole. Here came the double from Warble, and there's going to be a flag on the Bears. Not much there, but
it seemed late too.
Yeah, Brendan Mackey with the ball. Yazzo Scaparata giving him a shove. Looks like Yale's going to be going man up unless they score here. Rotating out comes Scott. Turns that X, watched by, looks like that's Larkin Kemp. It is. Comes back to Kesey. Works back, chased by Warble to the right of Jack Kelly. The wind up, the shot, and the score. They went low and bounced it past Jack Kelly. And the Bulldogs have scored on their first 3 shots of the game, and they've retaken the lead, 3-2.
Yeah, just Mackey's 6th goal of the season. As again, Yale very patient. Flag was on the ground already. They knew they were going to go man up, and they didn't need that much space there. Mackey with a quick release, 6th of the season, and gives the lead right back to the Bulldogs.
So back and forth they come. The flag is still assessed to Warble. So the Bears will still go man down, and that'll put a man-up unit from Yale that is third in the league out against a man-down unit for the Bears that is similarly third in the league.
Yeah, 31st in the nation, 10 of 37 on their man-up opportunities are the Bulldogs. The Bears on the penalty kill have done an admirable job so far this season.
About 71%, Mike, give or take?
Give or take.
Ball's on the ground. Kemp can't get there. The extra man, the difference for Yale. And they'll work upfield with Reese. Reese winding up and scores! Jack Kelly a little slow getting down that time, and a man-up goal for the Bulldogs. They're up 4-2.
Yeah, it seems like Kelly having a little bit of trouble picking the ball up from range so far today. But again, right down the middle, no one really picking him up. The Bears giving up too much space there, and Reese with the finish. Picks up his first goal of the season. So again, some unlikely scorers for the Bulldogs. Nathan, Alessi, Mackey, and Reese. And Yale back up by 2.
2 weeks ago, it was Princeton going high on Jack Kelly. Today, it's Yale going low. And the Bulldogs have doubled up the Bears 4-2. Early goings, and I think it was most surprising to me, Mike. 4 shots from the Bulldogs, all on goal, all in the goal.
Yeah, like we said, Kelly maybe just not seeing it quite as well as he did last week against Penn. He had 15 saves in that contest, and there's another faceoff win for the Bulldogs with the quick cause turnover.
James Lawrence picks it up as it kind of flew through the sky. He'll whip it across. Good sight line for Alec Tullett. Tullett will work up that right side, dodges his way around Gilcini, and into the box. Here comes Tullett. Tullett thought about pulling the trigger. It hits off of a helmet, and it will remain Brown ball.
Tricky little play that time. Tullett able to get in across the restraining line and past midfield. A nice little dodge.
Prigmore off, and now the Bears getting Carson Song, Bailey Tills, and looks like the rest of the attack includes Graham, Ballistri, Blinn, and of course Malloy. Graham on the right side with the ball is Blinn out at the restraining line, sends it right side. Bears trailing 4-2. Browns never led in this one. Yale's led by as many as 2 now twice, opening up a 2-0 lead early, and here this 4-2 advantage. Blinn turns to his left and then back right. Well watched by Michael Quinn, who is just a menace defensively.
Yeah, he certainly is. This whole Yale defense, Mike, so aggressive. Have the team speed to get back and recover as well.
Carson Song looks back to his left, runs his way in, and has the ball dislodged. Nicely played by Robert Mooney of the Bulldogs. And they will attempt to clear. Hufford back behind his goal. Will loop it ahead for Gilcini. He's been a bit of a clear machine early on for Yale. Gets past Malloy and will finish the clear left side. Jeff Cimbalista with the ball. Yale with an opportunity to extend what right now is a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, Bears really in need of a stop here. Would love to see Jack Kelly get a save, Mike, get some confidence back.
Bonacci, McGovern, and it looks like Alessi out there, so perhaps a second midfield unit for the Bulldogs, or at least the second midfield unit we've seen. They've really only had a couple of attacking sets so far, as they've scored a lot of goals, bulk of them, 3 of their 4, really in transition or on kind of that broken play, so to speak. Bonacci for the Bulldogs. Trying to work his way around Larkin Kemp for Cimbalista. Off to the far wing. Nice spin move, and good job by Prigmore to track him. Ball up top, the shot and the save from Jack Kelly. Out ahead it comes for Larkin Kemp. Kemp overran the ball. Gets a little push of it to Michael Panapinto, and a failed clear for Brown, who have had their troubles with turnovers this season. Should have been a hold on Encyclo, and a shot saved by the crossbar. Bounces back to Jack Kelly, and they'll reset for the Bears.
Definitely catching a break there, Mike, after the failed clear. See if they're a little bit more careful with the ball this time up. Already 10 minutes passed in this first quarter.
And Brown turning the ball over 15.5+ times per game. Here's Prigmore, dodges past the big cut there by Alessi.
Yeah, good thing he made that little shimmy move there at the last second. Almost got clobbered there right at the restraining line.
Caputo to his left has Bailey Tills, and off comes Prigmore for Matt Graham. Tills trying to work into a trifecta of, triumvirate rather, of Bulldogs. Inside 4:15, the Bulldogs certainly doing what they need to do defensively here, having held this very good Brown attack to only 2 goals on a couple of shots. They've gotten some saves in front as well. The ball picked off. Looking for Ballistri, nicely read again by Chris Keating.
Yeah, Keating so aggressive, one-on-one D there. Also very efficient on clears, Mike, as the Bulldogs have done a nice job so far this afternoon.
John Denigelis in the midfield, drops it back to, I think, Alessi, and Alessi's going to hop off as Reeves plays it behind the goal for Jack Ty. Yale will get their attacking set on, and we're inside. 3:40 to play here in the first quarter with the #1 team, the last unbeaten, in fact, Yale, leading the Brown Bears 4-2. Bears still have Graham out there along with Kemp, the long pole, John Yazzo Scaparrotta, the other short pole defensive midfielder for the Bears. Brendan Mackey looks left for Kesey, the top midfield back on for Coach Andy Shea's Bulldogs. Mackey looks to spin back to his left. They'll work it around clockwise to the far side. Here comes Kesey, gets a step on Kemp, and then Kemp with a nice job of moving his feet, keep him going. Now Reeves, who's been held at bay by Encyclo, tried to bull his way in. There's that left-handed shot. He wanted it, but the Bears do a good job on the double. Feed in front, shot again off the pipe.
Off the inside of the pipe, Mike. The angle of that one came out.
Big hit from Lawrence. Yale will reset as he took down Mackey. Another drive saved by Jack Kelly.
Kelly starting to feel it now in between the pipes. Has got a little bit of help from the post and the crossbar, but he'll certainly take it.
Yazzo Scaparrotta past the Yale bench, steps into the box. The Bears complete the clear with inside 2.5 left here in the quarter. Crucial possession if you're a Brown fan. Malloy turns back to his left, steps back, and gives it to Graham. We mentioned Brown's troubles of late with Yale. They lost twice to them, once down in New Haven in the regular season, and then here in the Ivy League tournament. Prior to that, Mike mentioned the only time Brown's beaten them in the last half decade has been back in 2009. Even that, 6-7 years ago now. Ballistri for Caputo. Turns back to his right, nowhere to go, almost threw it away. Blinn, the shot, to score!
Oh, what a rip.
Blinn brought the shot down after a very tough pass. Wheels, deals, and delivers, and the Bears are back within 1.
29th tally of the season for Blinn. That one a laser beam, about hip level, maybe a little bit lower. Nice feed from Caputo. Blinn, and I don't think Hufford really expected that one, Mike.
No, the defense was in good position, Mike. Really that was the only angle I think that Blinn had to offer. And the Bulldogs lead is cut to 1, 4-3. With inside 2 minutes left here in quarter number 1.
Second of the day for Henry Blinn, Mike. So far it's Caputo and Blinn for the Bears, as Malloy's been held off the scoreboard thus far.
Garral trying to sweep at it, and it's won again by Reese of Yale. So faceoffs have been pretty even, I think 50-50 so far today. 4 for Brown, 4 for Yale. And again, the 10-man ride, Mike.
Yeah, Kelly kind of wandering out of the crease, daring Yale to shoot it. They have shown the ability to fire it in from that far. This time, Kelly's not as far away from his own crease, though.
Well, they give it back to Keating. He's going to wind up and throws it up and over the top.
And they're going to stay backed up, though, by the Bulldogs. Yeah, they're going to have to take that one in from the end line as the ball had ricocheted off the back fencing about 10 yards in.
And the Bears quickly reset. Panapinto, Miller, Kemp, Encyclo, Prigmore, and Lawrence.
Need another big stand here by the Bears with about a minute to go in this first quarter.
A good attempt to cause the turnover from Brewster Warble. Sorry, not Prigmore. My 14 and my 12 backwards there. Sorry, folks. Ball is with the hands of Ben Reeves on his cross, watched by J.J. Encyclo of the Bears, one of this defense's unsung heroes, if you will. Reeves, the shot, whipped wide. There's that left-handed crease roll you spoke of in the open.
Yeah, he loves that shot, loves to come from behind the net, goalie's left shoulder side. and try to whip around the nice finish for that time wide of the cage.
Ball lobbed up top, Alessi. Miller, a good job of sliding with him. And they'll push it back with a half-minute left in the quarter. On the left comes Bonacci. Uses, looks like he's using McGovern, and now Alessi tells him go back the other way. Turns it behind the goal for Ty, and we'll see maybe one last attempt here from the Bulldogs as we tick into the waning seconds. The turn, the shot, a score! Huge goal for Yale as they will extend the lead back to 2. Kind of a surprising shot. This time, Yale finishing high.
Yeah, Gilcini that time started from behind the crease and just got around Warble, able to fire it in past Kelly. Just 8.2 ticks left on the clock. And for Gilcini, that's just his 3rd of the season. Again, kind of the unexpected goal scorers for the Bulldogs so far today.
3 for Gilcini on the season, 2 for Nathan.
First for
Reese for his first.
And just the 6 for Mackey and Alessi, so.
Face-off is going to be won by the Bears. We'll see if Garal can hurry it. Plays it in front. The shot to score!
Oh, yeah.
You liked it, Mike? Tyler Ballistri took him just 3 seconds.
Mike, the key to that, Will Garal won it clean, sprinted right down the middle, found Ballistri. Huge momentum changer for the Bears, one they desperately needed.
Pushes the goals, the deficit back to 1. And more importantly, I think, for the Bears, by getting Kyler Ballistri his 34th goal of the season, he was one that has been at times this season neutralized by other defenses. When they key up on Malloy, that's got to get Ballistri involved.
Absolutely, and we've seen Blinn be able to take advantage of that so far today.
And now Ballistri with 1 as well. This face-off won by the Bears. That takes us into the break. And our score after 1 quarter, a good quarter of lacrosse, has the Yale Bulldogs leading the Brown Bears here at Stevenson-Pinsent 5-4. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back here with the second quarter call from Stevenson-Pinsent. It's all here on the Ivy League Digital Network and ESPN3. And we welcome you back on a blustery day here in Southern New England. He's Mike Mancuso. I'm Mike Rubin. Yale leading this one 5-4 in what was an entertaining but a bit unforeseen first quarter, Mike.
Yeah, definitely saw some unexpected scoring there, especially on the Bulldog side. Mike, a lot of their goals coming in transition or directly off faceoffs. Not a lot of 6-on-6 action for the Bulldogs. The Bears, though, able to climb back and strike within 1 after that last-second goal from Kyler Ballistri.
10 first quarter faceoffs were 5 apiece. Here's number 11. The Bears win it. Tullett for Encyclo. Gobbles it up. The Bears stay onside and will go to work on the attack to start quarter 2. The Bears attacking left to right. They're wearing the home whites. Brown numerals in red trim. They'll set up their personnel and get to work with Kemp and Garal heading off. Caputo and Tills checking on. And Brown looking to equalize for the second time today. Trailed 2-0, came back to tie it 2-2. Then trailed this one 4-2 and then 5-3 before making it 5-4 on Kyler Ballistri's 34th goal of the season with 2.5 ticks left in quarter number 1.
And as much as we thought Michael Quinn would be the one-on-one defender with Malloy, it's really been Keating that's had that assignment throughout the game. And he has played admirably for sure.
Definitely. Carson Song drops it. Malloy on the feed from Tills. It never got there. Keating has it. Malloy gives him a couple of whacks. Keating, nice job of keeping his feet. Little ballerina move as he kind of spun back the other way. Nice work through the midfield by Mark Gilcini. Drops the ball for Eric Scott and Yale to work on the attack.
Yeah, excellent clear by the Bulldogs that time. And just as we had spoken his name about 3 seconds earlier, Keating coming up with the big play.
His second cause turnover of the day. Yale outground balling the Bears now. 11-9 on the afternoon, counting the start of this quarter. Brendan Mackey, watched by John Yazzo Scaparata. A couple of minutes gone here in the second. Behind the goal is Jack Ty, the freshman out of Garden City, New York. Works his way in against Brewster Warble. Sends the ball back to Scott. Scott thought about the shot, takes it wide.
Yeah, again, the Bears giving a lot of space up top there from that, 10 to 12 yard range out. Kelly's had a little bit of trouble stopping some of those shots today, and Yale keeping those shots coming from that range.
Overflowing crowd now here in Stevenson-Pinsent. Ball on that far side of the box. Good job of the Bears to show to it this time, as Reeves didn't really have anywhere to go as he was being doubled up there. And now Reeves trotting to the far corner of the box, still with the ball in his cross, barking out orders with Brewster Warble of the Bears watching him. Reeves, they work it around for Kesey. Kesey looking back to his left, calling out signals. I think he was talking to Cymbalista in the middle. So too is Reeves looming in front of Jack Kelly. Kemp following his man. The turn, the feed, back up top. Nowhere to go for Eric Scott. Nice slide by Yazo Scaparata. Swims back right and left, and then a nice job by the Bears to hold the Bulldogs at bay.
Great footwork there by Yazo Scaparata, not overcommitting on the attacker, able to keep him at bay.
The shot and save by Jack Kelly, his 6th of the afternoon.
I think he might have got him on the hand, Mike, kind of shaking that left hand after that shot, but seems to be all right.
Tie from Scott as Yale winds up, and that shot whipped wide over to the Rowdy section.
Tough angle that time for Eric Scott.
Reeves will re-enter the ball. It's been a long possession here for the Bulldogs. Taking a couple of shots. One saved by Kelly. Reeves working in front. Has it dislodged by Encyclo, the cause turnover. And that's Santangelo for the Bears for Tullett. Tullett working ahead. Warble has some space. Wants the shot. Didn't get much on it.
Oh, and he paid the price coming from behind. Mike, getting a good piece of him was Brendan Mackey. But Hufford up to the task that time as the shot on the run from Warble found the top cross.
Never made it through as the turnover caused by Tullett and Malloy. Tullett for Malloy, the shot whipped wide, and the Bulldogs able to back it up.
Yeah, not a bad idea by Malloy, still trying to find his first of the day, but with no one backing up, goes down as a turnover for the Bears. Tough one.
Yale looking to clear from the near side is Quinn to Gilcini. Be chased by Panapinto, and able to get the ball across to Kesey, and Yale go back on the attack. So 5-4 remains the score. Nice slide by Panapinto, and now here's Bonacci for Yale. Checking in as J.W. McGovern for the Bulldogs, as well as Kesey. After that long possession, will trot off. And, looks like a procedural called against Yale.
Well, the Bears will certainly take that as Panapinto leads the charge on the clear.
Panapinto will complete the clear. Brown to work on the attack. I was watching the ball, Mike, so I'm not exactly sure what the call was made against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I was looking down there too, but either way, again, the Bears very happy to have possession back here. About 5 minutes in.
Tills for Caputo has one of the 4 Brown goals, 2 for Blinn and 1 for Kyler Ballistri. For an attack that comes in averaging almost 17 goals per game.
Yeah, sitting at 16.9 after last weekend's thrashing of Penn.
Graham, nice feed in front. Till's shot was blocked on the ball.
I don't know if it ever made it in, Mike. I think Keating might have snagged that shot before it made it to Hufford.
It's entirely possible.
He's been a monster back there so far.
He has been the man of the match, no question, thus far, has been Christopher Keating, the junior out of Windham, New Hampshire.
Yeah, when you throw him and Quinn together, Mike, such a dominant pairing on defense for the Bulldogs.
Brigmore's chasing Kesey, and Yale back to work in what has become a very defensive second quarter. 6 minutes gone just about, and neither side has found the back of the net yet.
Yeah, it was a crazy pace in the first quarter, one that I don't think we really expected, being 5-4, and that's where it still is, 6 minutes in to the second.
Well, great to have you on board with us on a sunny day. Windy here in southern New England. Wind blowing kind of across the field, sometimes up at us here at the press box. Not unusual for Stevenson-Pinsent. The crease roll from Bonacci, and a good, nice job by the Bears. Santangelo following him. And the ball almost taken away by Kemp, or rather Caputo.
Caputo, yeah. Nice little stick check, able to knock it away from Alessi for a second there, but couldn't quite get that ground ball.
Tullett following his man, turning back the other way was Joseph Sessa of the Bulldogs.
Defensive unit of the Bears, Mike, looks much sharper here in the second quarter than they did in the first. Seem a little bit more aggressive, moving their feet better, recovering off the double teams.
Alessi works back against Caputo for Bonacci. Alessi winds up, shot saved by Kelly.
Off the post, Mike. It hit off the post again. Off Kelly, off the post,
and out.
And out.
Nothing, I hope they bet a Big Mac on it, right? Like the old commercials. Jack Kelly out ahead for Graham, who has room in the midfield. Approached by a couple of Bulldogs, but will complete the clear for Brown to Henry Blinn. Blinn on the near side of the box, a tough pass over the head of Graham, but I think that's exactly what he wanted to do. At least that's how we'll call it. And for Caputo, who's been out there for a while, was playing defensively as well. Looks like the Bears trying to get Tills on the attack. Looks like they got Stephen Hudak getting ready to check in all likelihood for Caputo, if they do in fact check out the big man. Caputo looks back to his left, wants the shot, gives it to Ballistri. Ballistri in front for Graham. Graham never got it cleanly in his cross. And again, who else but Keating with the ground ball? Out ahead for Danigelis. Here comes Yale. The quick transition. Danigelis, the save by Jack Kelly. And there's going to be a flag on the Bears, Mike. I don't like it. Brendan Caputo cannot believe it. I think they're calling it contact to the head.
It was certainly close. It was the last-ditch effort, the dive by Caputo. We'll check it out again. Well, he missed there.
Oh, yeah, he got him. You saw the second time. Not just enough to warrant the call, apparently. Saw his helmet kind of kick back a little bit.
Yeah, well sold there by Danigelis as well.
Absolutely.
But you got to.
Yeah.
You feel that heat coming towards you?
So a 1 minute foul on Caputo gives Yale its second man up of the day.
Yeah, they converted the first, Reese. But in that situation, it was right off a face-off as Yale had actually scored, then got the man up and scored again.
Lawrence Gustafson, Kemp, Tullett, Yazzo Scaparata. Brown's man down, quintet tie, comes back to Scott. Scott up top, the turn by Kesey.
Yeah,
and
keep an eye on Scott and Kesey. They both are tied for the team lead with 4 man-up goals on the season.
Reeves to the right, the shot, a score! Skipping one through is this time senior Shane Carr. Yale's lead back to 2 on the Bulldogs' second man-up goal of the day.
Yep, 5th goal of the season for Carr. His 3rd man-up goal of the season. And just able to go low on Kelly once again. That one with 6:22 left in the second quarter. 8:38 of the second quarter, in fact. So now the Bears, who've been held off the scoreboard for this entire second frame, looking to get back on track. Will Grawl on the face-off now.
Grind it out to Garal, and it looks like that was Yale's Connor Mackey. And it's won by the Bears eventually. Garal running in and scores! Garal found a seam, went right up the gut. Nobody picked him up, and he said, why not? And Brown is back within 1.
Such a luxury, Mike, when your face-off man can finish. And what a scrum there. Miller had actually gotten knocked down. All of a sudden, Garal comes away from the pack. No one gets in front, right down the middle, able to blast it past Hufford, and once again, it's a 1-goal game.
That's going to bring Ted Ottens off for the Bears to try the face-off against Mackey. Not a bad second option for the Bears is Ottens.
Yeah, Ottens, you know, he's been good at times this season, 54%, has won 53 of 98 face-offs coming into today, but it's certainly been admirable when having to give Garal a spell here and there.
Ottens and Mackey grinding it out, shoulder to shoulder. It looks like Tullett's going to be in good good position, one-on-one with Mooney. Ball still loose. Looked like Ottens is having his stick held. And finally, Ottens, they step out of bounds. No, a procedural against the Bears. They're going to say, I think, Encyclo stepped over the line.
Certainly looked like he was holding his ground there, but Bulldogs will get possession.
Sometimes we have to defer to their sight lines, I guess. We'll say he had a better view than we did. It's not going to stop us from dissenting the call, however, as Yale will go back to work. Yale's never trailed in this one. They lead by a goal once again. Hasn't been tied in a while, not since it was 2-2, and that was maybe the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yep, 5:15 of the first.
The turn, ball fed across. Back out it comes for Kesey. Works against Kemp. Winds up, shoots it up and over the top. Yale backing it up.
Yeah, Kesey, you know, he's one of their top goal scorers as well. 23 on the season.
Yale shoe needing tied.
As long as they all don't need to tie their shoe, we should be all right here. With 5:17 left in quarter number 2.
I've had trouble with my shoes today, actually. This is the third time mine's unlaced, but I'm not playing.
I told you, I'll get you some Velcro once, Mike.
Might need them. Kesey looking for Eric Scott, who has the ball, working against Larkin Kemp. Bounce shot again, hits a pipe. Ricochets out to the far wing, where it will remain Yale's possession. What's that, 5 pipes?
At least 5 or 6.
5, maybe 6.
Kelly's been bailed out a couple of times here today.
Nice work here by Brendan Mackey, who does the high riser, almost sends that one into a cavalcade of fans that are out there watching the game from the parking lot because there's nary a seat to be had. That shot up and over the top, probably.
Well, Panapinto, Mike, doing a nice job of forcing that type of shot.
I was going to say, and it looks like Yale wants a timeout. Yes, they do, and they're going to get one. So a timeout called with the score 6-5. We're going to step aside with 4:38 left in the first half. You're watching Ivy League lacrosse, Brown and Yale, here on ESPN3 and the Ivy League Digital Network. Now there's some of the brave souls here in southern New England that are braving the wind, and there are about, oh, I don't know, 3,000 of them. A great crowd on here, here at Stevenson-Pinsent.
Healthy crowd here today.
Yeah, it's a little breezy out there, but I say they're brave because of where they are. A shot goes wide, it's heading towards them.
Yeah, you got to watch out over there. Be aware at all times.
So for Mike Mancuso and our entire Ivy League Digital Network crew here on ESPN3, I'm Mike Rubin. Great to have you with us in a 6-5 ball game.
I think they just started the clock late.
Yeah, they have to.
They want to take another 4 off there, so no big deal. Still Yale possession.
So the Bulldogs, as Mike just said, wearing the road navy blues, white numerals, white trim, attacking goal to our left here and on the attack. They've been on the attack quite a bit this quarter. Have scored once. Both squads has tallied a strike here in the second. That shot low on Kelly and finishes. Again, the Bears seem to have, or rather the Bulldogs may have seemed to have found Jack Kelly's kryptonite down low today.
Yeah, that time Eric Scott. And that's just about 2 steps in from the top of the box, Mike. I mean, there is some traffic in front of Kelly, but he's certainly just not picking the ball up that well so far today. Goal number 14 for Scott on the season. And again, 2-goal lead now for the Bulldogs. That one, 10:47 of the second quarter.
Bears are not accustomed to playing from behind. In fact, when they went down against Bryant, it was the first time they had trailed since the season opener against Quinnipiac. They went down the first minute in that game, and Will Garral coming out with another face-off win. But in this game, they have never led, so kind of the opposite state of affairs for a Brown squad that has really only trailed a couple times this season.
Garral doing another excellent job on the face-off and did a nice job of avoiding the hit of Keating there to keep it alive. He'll trot off the field. They'll get Graham Tills back on.
Dylan Malloy wants to bull his way in, wants the shot, doesn't get it, and will play it to Ballistri. Here's Tills working his way in behind the goal. Off to the right is Malloy. His shot bounces wide of Hufford.
Yeah, has tried that sneaky little shot a couple of times where you don't think he has any angle or opportunity to shoot. Does get the shot off, but it has been wide every time today.
Tills for Malloy. Bears rotating on the attack, working against Keating. Nice work by Keating again to hold Malloy at bay. Finds Graham, and now here's Stephen Hudak. Bears have tried to check him in a couple of times. We saw him awaiting play in the midfield area. And he'll give it back to Tills out of that far corner. Working one-on-one in against Gilsini. Tills nowhere to go for Graham, and now Hudak. Under 3 to play. Brown scoring just a single goal here in this second quarter. Hudak for Graham. Part of the reason they've been held off the scoreboard is sometimes the best defense and good offense. Yale has had 2 or 3 really extended attacking possessions here as Tills ran into Gilsini, lost the ball.
Yeah, Tills maybe trying to do a little bit too much that time and kind of got caught in no man's land, was trying to perhaps go in front of the crease, behind it, didn't make up his mind in time and lost the ball.
Riley Naton will complete the clear for Reeves. Yale with an opportunity to build the lead back to 3. They led by 3. No, I don't think they have led by 3 in this one, have they? It was 5-3, not 5-2. That's right. So, kind of an important turn here with inside now 2 minutes left in the half. Certainly for the Bulldogs, they can
and very similar to the end of the first quarter, Mike. Yale got possession with about 2 minutes. They took it down to within about 8 seconds left in the quarter. They had scored, but then of course the Bears dramatic goal right at the end of the first quarter with 2.5 seconds left.
Bears haven't really been able to sustain any momentum, however. And Reeves, watched by Warble, will roll the near side in front. One-timer! And scored! Yale with the finish. In front was Bonacci. A great feed by Reeves. And Yale is up 8-5.
Yeah, Bonacci's 11th goal of the season. Comes in dramatic fashion. The one-timer there just got the step on Encyclo. And the Bears down by 3. 91 seconds left here in the second quarter.
You know, you and I have seen some very good lacrosse teams here over the years. This Yale side, Mike, so far through the first half, the bulk of this first half, about as complete as we've seen here in recent memory.
Well,
and I'm talking about the more recent, some of those Princeton and Cornell squads we've seen as well. They are complete.
Yeah, well, and they certainly have brought their A-plus game today, Mike. The Bears seem a little bit off, especially early on in that first quarter, and Yale certainly taking advantage.
No, there is such a thing as almost being too hyped, and we've heard Lars Tiffany talk about controlling emotion and controlling anxiety over the course of a season and into big moments. And here Yale certainly in the driver's seat, leading 8-5 with a minute left in the half. Nice work by Yazo Scaparata. Ball is unsettled on the end line, and we got a whistle from way out, and it looks like the Bulldogs got a timeout just before the ball was dislodged. So we're going to keep it here with the score 8-5, and certainly Yale can really cause, I think, for Brown a lot of problems if this lead becomes 4. I mean, I think 3, if you're Brown, you still feel like you're within striking distance. 4, and more importantly, a quarter in which you struck for only 1 goal, certainly will raise some eyebrows in that Brown huddle.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you know, the Bears, this is their largest deficit of the season, Mike. They, like you mentioned, they are not used to playing from behind at all. And especially against one of the top defensive teams in the nation. Again, Yale does not give up a ton of goals. They give up only about 6.5 per contest. Brown's already been able to put in 5. But the defense has been outstanding for Yale all afternoon. And the Bears are struggling both in transition and on their 6v6. So Yale doing a nice job of taking away what the Bears do best, but defensively right now, Mike, this is a huge possession for the Bears. They cannot afford to go down by 4 in this final minute of the first half. Yale riding all the momentum thus far. The Bears need something to kind of spark something the other way. Love to see them get a turnover and take it down and finish before the end of this quarter, but Bulldogs looking pretty good right now.
So I'm sure the focus in the huddle for Yale is just to keep doing what you're doing. And, I think for the Brown Bears, typically the message has been defensively, keep the ball where Jack Kelly can see it. I think in a day like today, it's almost as though they have to play slide and deny the shot.
Yeah, I think they need to do a little bit better job of trying to limit the amount of shots that are getting in on Kelly. And, not only has he already been beaten 8 times, but he's actually been beaten a couple more times than that, Mike. The post has kind of saved the Bears a couple of times, at least, 4 or 5 by our count. And, yeah, Kelly needs to kind of find that other gear and get back into that zone that he was in last weekend against Penn.
We knew this senior class circled this one a long time ago, having been knocked off by the Bulldogs twice last year and once apiece in the seasons prior. And as we've said, there is something about being overhyped. I think for Yale, I think they have just gone about this like they have all season long. Very workmanlike.
Yeah, and that's what they've really prided themselves. Coach Shea asked about the whole undefeated thing and said, they don't really worry about that. They just take it, whoever's next on the list, and they go to work that week in practice. Of course, they said scouting Brown, and, so many different weapons, but so far it looks like they've done a nice job of installing a game plan that certainly works for their style.
Well, they came in with 20-something different goal scorers coming in, and they've shown that depth here today. There's that crease roll. Ben Reeves coming back to his left, and Yale's lead is 4.
28th of the season for Reeves, and we talked about it in the open mic. We've talked about it a couple times today. He loves rolling from that far side. Goalie's left shoulder, sweet lefty finish. And just like that, it's 9-5 Bulldogs.
And another timeout taken with 12.8 seconds left. I think this is a Brown timeout. I didn't hear the official call. I think this was the Yale timeout, so the last one was the Brown timeout because So I'm looking at this, Mike, and I know you and I looking at the full body of work, and the Bears almost seem as though whatever their game plan was needs to be torn up at halftime, and they got to start from scratch.
Well, I don't know if they need to tear things up, but they need to find a way to make it work a little bit better, Mike. I mean, certainly Yale defensively has done some nice things, but the Bears look like they've also played a little bit too much one-on-one game. They're not maybe distributing the ball as well as they have been so far this season. We've seen a couple turnovers maybe out of Malloy, or I believe it was Bailey Tills on the last offensive set for the Bears, where just holding it. They're looking a little bit indecisive, and part of that, the credit has got to go to the Yale defense. Keating, Quinn, they've been outstanding and really making things more difficult than the Bears have seen. And again, it just seems like the Bears came out with that jittery, almost nervous energy, just didn't seem comfortable out there. So if they can kind of get things back under control and come out with a strong start to the third quarter, it could be all right.
Well, and on top of that, I think, Mike, on top of that, what we had that added dimension of going down 2-0 really early. I mean, 1-0 on the first before the players were even settled out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a huge key so far today, and definitely some things that have been affecting this contest so far.
So we have a face-off violation on the Bulldogs. The Bears will head upfield, 12 seconds with which to work, and it comes to Caputo, inside 7. Caputo looking left, drives the shot wide, just backed up by Brown. Malloy will re-enter the ball, keeps it himself, bulls his way against Keating, turns back, shoots and scores!
And a flag!
And a flag, and
a goal!
Oh, they're counting it! Dylan Malloy answering the bell as time expires with a flag. They're going to talk it over, and we'll see if this one counts.
Well, it was certainly close, but we talked about Malloy being held off the scoreboard that time, able to bull his way in with time expiring.
They pick up the flag, but the goal will count. So the Bears get a huge strike from Dylan Malloy to make it a 3-goal contest at the half. Here's another look.
So Malloy right off the start, off the end line. is going to just bowl his way, got Keating off balance, took the hit from behind.
Oh, yeah, it counts.
Yep.
Looks like he released it before the
Yep. So
boy.
Good calls by the official there, right on top of things. Good situational awareness out of the Bears. Malloy with the finish.
They have great eyesight when they're right, don't they? And the score 9-6 as we head into the half. We'll take a timeout with the score Yale unbeaten 9. Brown with 1 loss but unbeaten in the league 6. We'll be right back with halftime from Stevenson-Pinsent here on ESPN3 and the Ivy League Digital Network. Yeah, welcome back, folks. Alumni weekend for lacrosse and soccer, and spring weekend for the rest of the campus here at Brown, where the host Bears find themselves down by 3 heading into the second half from Stevenson-Pinsent Field. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. Great to have you on board with us as we get ready for the start of the second half. And you mentioned, Mike, that it starts between the pipes with Jack Kelly needing to see the ball a little bit better. And I would almost argue that it also continues up top where the Bears need to get that system back in order.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, I think, obviously with the big 3, kind of getting theirs already a little bit, considering the Bears have just the 6 goals, 4 of them coming from the 3-headed monster of Malloy, Ballistri, and Blinn. But I think at times the Bears almost going back to a little bit of their game plan from last year, where they kind of dump it in and get a little bit too much one-on-one play out of some of their attack. We need to maybe share the ball a little bit, some crisper passing, but it's a very difficult task against a very stingy Yale defense.
For Yale, I think Andy Shea has to have graded out just about everybody with an A in that first half. No question.
Yeah, I mean, these guys definitely came to play today. You always wonder who's going to show up for the big moments, the big games, and so far everybody for the Bulldogs has. Only question, I guess, would be, can they sustain it for another half? It's one thing to go out, do it, get a comfortable lead. 3 goals, not a bad lead against the Bears, but, the one thing we know about this Brown team, they are able to bounce back. We saw what they were able to do after the loss to Bryant. They came back with a vengeance and routed Penn last weekend. We're going to need to see that type of aggression, that type of physical play, and just see them be a little bit more settled, though, as well. So even though it seems like it's an oxymoron of being more aggressive and everything, but still be settled, that's what they need to do. Get back to playing their fun style of lacrosse where they're all sharing the ball.
Control the chaos, I guess,
Exactly.
would be the way we would describe it. Bears attacking right to left, Bulldogs thus left to right, and we are ready for the start of the second half here at Stevenson-Pinsent Field in Providence, Rhode Island. Game time temperatures, and now it's about in the 50s. Garal working up the gut is tripped, and no call of any kind.
Yeah, seemed a little bit dangerous, that lunge and flying kind of swipe from Gilcini as he took out Garal, but play on, they say.
They've let him play for the most part here today. Hufford ahead for Kesey. Lars Tiffany hands on his hips. I think he was expecting something as well. But it didn't come, and Yale will go on the attack ahead by 3. They led briefly by 4. And they'll get Mackey on the field, Brendan Mackey. With the ball, works against Brian Prigmore, the first year for Brown. Behind the goal, couple first years out there for Brown. Panapinto the other. He's trying to work his way in, came Cymbalista, who's been held at bay so far. Pulls the trigger and shot it wide. And a nice hustle there by Lawrence, but apparently Reeves in position to back it up.
Yeah, seemed to be the right call. And I mentioned earlier, Cymbalista scoring the 7 goals in the 2 games last year against Brown. All 7 goals coming in the second half.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? Mackie. I knew you were going to say it. I mean, I teed it up there for you.
Of course. Well, I was getting ready to see it, and then I saw him getting ready to launch that shot, too. I was like, oh, boy, here we go.
Panapinto is watching him. Gilcini's on the ball. Or check, that's Ty. I apologize. Ty had a goal in the first half, or he was credited for 1. Back out. That's the range. Yale's been pretty successful from that range, indeed, through the first half of this one. And you'll see Yale perhaps a bit more controlled on the attack, considering this 3-goal advantage. Reeves in front. They tried the one-timer. It never came. and there's going to be it was going to be a crease violation on Yale, but here's Panapinto in transition. I was worried about the push.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to call it first, and then they did
in
not.
front, shot wide as Panapinto. Nicely fed there by Dylan Malloy.
Oh, it was a perfect feed, Mike, and Malloy kind of saying to Panapinto, all right, man, you know, you were there. Let's just go. Let's keep playing. Don't get frustrated. As tough as Panapinto saw the hit coming from his right side, trying to avoid that and get the shot off at the same time, not the easiest thing.
Bailey Tills running, being chased by Robert Mooney of the Bulldogs, who's had a very good game as well. Say that really about any of the Yale long polemen. And now here's Malloy, uses the screen, bulls his way in, and took a shot across. Are they going to call it a pass?
No, that was definitely a shot.
Yeah, okay, I was watching.
Backed up by Blinn on the play again. Malloy just trying to release maybe from unconventional angles and opportunities, but that one again wide of the cage, which he's been most of the day, except for that last second shot at the end of the second quarter.
Graham trying to work around Eric Scott, winds up, shoots it wide. Brown backing it up despite the dive of Christopher Keating of Yale. Malloy will re-enter the ball. 3 minutes gone here into the third. Malloy turns, lost his footing, rolls a shot in. They're going to say a crease violation, and it'll be Yale ball.
Just touching the chalk there. I think he might have put a hand down inside the crease as he was knocked to the ground.
Keating out ahead for Bonacci. And Yale back on the attack as the Bears squander an opportunity to cut into a 3-goal Bulldog lead. Caputo still out there along with Kemp and Tullett, Yazzo, Scaparata, Lawrence, and Cyclo, and along with Jack Kelly for the Bears. Yale with, it's like Reeves working against Encyclo, turns, shot, and scores! Goes up and over, becomes Yale's first multi-goal score of the day, and it's 10-6.
And again, Mike, this time he's rolling from the right side of the cage and able to come around and take another look. Just got to step on the defender. And again, you know he's going to shoot it left-handed, Mike. That time a little overhand left-handed shot. And Reeves with his second goal of the day, 29th of the season. And 3:55 in. Yale puts the lead back at 10-6. 4-goal advantage for the Bulldogs. And, you know, every possession here on out has got to be so much more valuable for the Bears, Mike. They've got to get quality shots in on Hufford. Garral's doing all he can off the face-offs.
Pushes the ball back to the near side. Malloy pushed, will get the ball back to Tullett. Tullett working upfield, the long pole feed in front. Ballistri, shot, score! Ballistri answers, picked the ball up from his shoe tops and rockets it high. Brown back within 3.
35th of the season for Ballistri. Huge goal that the Bears desperately needed as they have to find a way to get on one of their goal-scoring runs. A little bit of a broken play up top. Tullett, the nice feed across. Ballistri able to get in close, blasted over the top right shoulder of Hufford for his second goal of the day. Bears first of the third quarter comes at 4:12. And the Bears all season long have been able to go on runs of 4, 5, 6, 11 against Penn. They need one of those big-time runs to climb back into this game.
Well, we'll see if Garral can continue to do his part against Reese at the X. Fans try to get behind the home squad. Garral flips it back, has some space, gives the ball. Nope, going to keep it himself. I thought he was going to give it back to Kelly. And the Bears going back on the attack. Garral for Larkin Kemp, over for Henry Blinn. Blinn being chased by Quinn, and now Ballistri. Ballistri one-on-one against Cameron Martini.
Now trio subs come back in. Graham, Song, and Tills. So again, good work out of the face-off unit of the Bears to gain that possession.
5 minutes gone in the third. Tills for Malloy. He's watched by Keating. Works around the goal, does Malloy, looking to feed. Keating, a good job of trying to dislodge that ball. Song, again looking to feed, over for Blinn. Blinn watched by Quinn, back out for Song at the restraining line. Working to the left, turns, dishes the ball to Graham. Graham over, the rip and the save by Hufford.
Yeah, Blinn had the step after the double team by Quinn, but Hufford stumps him on the doorstep.
Tyler Warner quickly upfield. Yale, the turn, the shot is wide.
Bears caught a break that time, a little bit unsettled there.
It was Jack Ty who got free. Reeves turns and takes the shot. It's backed up again by Yale and Ty. They'll reset, will the Bulldogs, with Cymbalista, Reeves, and now Kesey, and just on is Scott, and I think that's Bonacci. Yes,
Yep.
It is. Along with the aforementioned Ty and Reeves. Yazzo Scaparata watching Bonacci. Bonacci looked to the ref. I think we wanted a call, didn't come. Working in Bonacci, nicely watched by the Bears' short pole man, as comes back over to Scott. Scott manned up by Encyclo. Here's Jack Kelly, takes a couple of whacks, and there's the flag. A couple of whacks indeed from Eric Scott, who turns and has words for Jack Kelly on his way to the penalty box.
Now the Bears will get their first man-up opportunity of the day.
It is a 1-minute slashing violation.
Well, it was a nice read by Kelly coming over to seal the near post on that save, and then able to scoop up the ground ball, try to get something going, took a couple of whacks. Seems to be all right, and we'll see what the Bears man-up unit can do here today. Just 11 of 38 on the season.
Yale's penalty kill, 5th in the league.
Yep, killing off at 68% of their opponent's chances.
Both teams 5th on their respective units. Brown and Brown's man-up unit is 5th. Yale getting Charlie Better, one of their man-down specialists. Graham for Caputo. If Ballistri on the near side, Graham winds up and scores! Fooled everybody, including Hufford, and Brown is back within 2 on the man-up goal.
And nice to see what Graham could do when he's able to set his feet and release. We'll take another look. Kind of hopping, ready. Saw that he was going to have some extra space. Finally gets it back from Caputo and just let it fly. Low bouncer just over the shoot tops of Hufford. Man-up goal for the Bears, and they are within 2. Goal number 12 for Graham this year.
Brown trying to get the fans back into it with a full home crowd in the stands here this afternoon. 8:11 left in the third. The face-off. Garral again is going to win it. Works upfield, up the seam, takes a shot, scores! Garral 5-hole, and Brown is within 1. You mentioned a run, Mike, and here come the Bears.
Just what they've been missing, Mike, that goal. Only took 3 seconds. Garral right down the middle, the low rip again, and Hufford helpless. Might have gone 5-hole as well. 1-goal game. Bears fired up on the sideline. They are ready to roll here, Mike. Can they keep it going? Ottens will have to come on as Garral a little bit winded after those last couple of face-offs.
Connor Mackey on for Yale as Reese had lost the last 3 draws for the Bulldogs. 8:08 left in the third. Ottens and Mackey. Ball still seems to be underneath. It's like Tullett trying to wait and see if it frees up, and they're going to call a hold on the Bulldogs. Caputo on. Here comes Tills. Caputo, and now is where the Bears need to remain poised, Mike.
Exactly right. Don't get too jittery. No itchy trigger fingers. Don't settle for just any shot. Get quality shots. Fans feeling it on the far side of the field as well.
They're feeling something. Working in, Graham in front for Blinn, who is back to the goal. Turns it over, too much on that pass for Bailey Tills.
Yeah, again, a little bit too jumpy there on the far side. Those cross-field passes, a little dangerous sometimes in the attacking area. Just over Tills.
Panapinto meets Kesey in the midfield, gives him a couple of whacks. Kesey maintains the possession, completes the clear for Yale, loses his footing. Here comes Encyclo.
Yeah, nice
The
job
shark
by
in water
Encyclo.
there, you see that?
Oh yeah, he was ready, and we know about his great speed.
To the near wing is Bonacci. And now Eric Scott for Yale. 10-9 as the Bears are on a little bit of a run here, a 3-0 run. The shot dislodged by Graham, but on the ball was Eric Scott, almost thrown away. Behind the goal is Ty. Watched by the Bears, Lawrence, and he throws it away. Ball bounces. Henry Blinn on the run, able to free himself up around Quinn, and he'll get the ball to the midfield for Graham, and now he'll feed Dylan Malloy. Malloy trying to work his way in. Here comes the double team, and we'll get it to Larkin Kemp. An unusual spot to see Kemp on the attack, and the Bears will reset things with an opportunity to tie.
Yeah, having both Kemp and Panapinto out there now. Caputo replacing Panapinto. Nice job by Malloy to just kind of settle down. You could see he wanted to try to bull rush Keating, and then the double team with Nathan coming over. Thought they might be looking at a turnover, but they were able to get out of trouble and keep possession.
Caputo working in, gets a step, feeds it over. Malloy working in, back out. Caputo couldn't pull the trigger, picks up the ground ball, swim dodge, working in, drives the shot up and over the top, and it'll be backed up by the Bears.
Should still be a shot, it was. So Blinn there able to just outrace. Is it Matini?
Matini, yes. Inside 5:40 now left here in the third. Bailey Tills. Crucial possession, as they all are, for the Brown Bears, who have not tied this one since it was 2-2. Tills a shot, came off the side of the net. Ballistri on the ball. Kind of a tricky shot there, using almost a backhand. Ballistri bulls his way in, lost the handle. Ball on the ground, and it'll be picked up by Kesey. Lobs it over for Quinn. He's going to try and outreach Malloy, who almost caused the turnover. Here comes Caputo. He gets crunched between them, does Quinn. Ball on the ground, they're letting him play, and it's going to be swatted toward the midfield. It's picked up by Santangelo. He's pushed, and they are letting him play, Mike.
Well, he kind of dove across there, Mike, as he made it across the midfield line. Now Yale in transition. Things a little bit unsettled as the Bears try to get back and set their defensive formation here. With under 5 to play in the third quarter, both teams just exchanging punches here.
We said it would be a heavyweight battle, and well, it's like an old school one, not the new school one. It's like Rocky and Apollo, not quite like what you watch these days, that's for sure.
So you're saying not as much dancing?
Not as much dancing, and the fight's not fixed. How about that? 4:20 left here in the third. Comes back to the near side, Eric Scott. They'll rotate it clockwise over to the far side for Mackey. He's chased by Brendan Caputo. Reeves calling out signals. He's in his office. Jack Kelly says, I know what, I'll take a swipe.
Well, you know what? That was a nice job by Kelly to free up Tullett, who kind of got caught on the wrong side of the net. Don't want to leave Reeves behind there.
Reeves' shot was altered, and Yazo Scaparata tried to cut down the angle. Play a little geometry there. It didn't work. Wasn't a perfect right triangle, I suppose.
At least not in the officials' estimation.
Eric Scott, watched by JJ and Cyclo, tries to work his way in, and Cyclo gets that cross up.
Ooh, got to be careful.
Yeah, very close to a hold. Pushes it up, and the pass for Mackey will sail out of bounds, and it'll be Brown ball.
Brown defense really picking it up here in the third quarter.
Brown re-entering play with Larkin Kemp from Dylan Malloy inside. 3.5 to play here in the third. Kemp off. Looks like Graham, Song, and maybe Tills for Caputo. I'm not sure. Caputo is playing both ways, so I would assume he's heading off. Yes, he is. So
Tills will also rejoin the fray as well on the offensive end now with 3 minutes to go in the third. Bears looking for the equalizer.
Malloy trying to use the screen in front. The shot save made. Ball in the crease. What a feed. Great shot. And I think it might have been a case of ball finding goalie, not the other way around.
Yeah, Hufford, I don't even know if he knew when it hit him, where it was going to go.
And Cyclo trying to cause the turnover. Ball is loose and picked up by the Bears. Blinn for Ballistri. Here comes Brown. Ballistri winding up for Malloy. Malloy the score! Brown tying it at 10. Chaos in the midfield. Transition for the attack.
And another goal for the nation's leading goal scorer. 36 of the season for Dylan Malloy. Comes at a big time. The Bears erase what was a 4-goal deficit, and we're knotted up at 10.
Malloy doing a great job of walking the tightrope, pulled back just as he approached the crease. Fans rejoicing. We're tied at 10. Inside 2.5 left here in the third quarter. Yale wants timeout. I think we've got to take one too. 10 apiece. What a game, folks. We've got to step aside. Don't miss what has turned into a classic. We'll be right back here on the Ivy League Digital Network and ESPN3. Well, we've got ourselves a good one here. In quarter number 3 are the Brown Bears and the Yale Bulldogs. We are tied at 10. The Bears have erased what was a 4-goal deficit. He's Mike Mancuso. I'm Mike Rubin. It is great to have you with us as Brown has gone on one of their runs, Mike.
Yep.
And this one's taken a little longer than some of the others to get going. Ballistri with a Garal, Graham, and now Dylan Malloy, his second. And here we are, tied at 10.
Yeah, 4-goal run here in the third quarter after Yale had gone up 10-6. The Bears storming back, though, 4 straight to tie things up. Garal and Ottens have been on fire at the faceoff. See if they can keep it going here. Looks like Miller's going to be out there on the faceoff unit for the Bears as one of the other poles with Tullett.
Third different guy for Yale, though. It looks like...
well, they've struggled on faceoffs all season long, Mike, coming in at exactly 50%.
I don't know if that... I can't see the number from this angle, so... yeah, I believe it's Riley Neaton. And the Bears win another faceoff. Alec Tullett in the midfield. So they went to a long pole man, with the Bears having won now, I think, 5 faceoffs in a row. Here's Henry Blinn. Blinn steps into the box, and now we'll set it. Almost threw it away, but Malloy there. Good thing Malloy's 6'2". Working his way in as Malloy gets squashed by a couple of Bulldogs. Hufford on the loose ball, pushes it ahead to Tyler Warner.
Yeah, lost his footing a little bit, too, and kind of got hit, got high and low that time, did Malloy, and that's why I think why he was kind of looking back at the official there.
So Yale back on the attack and looking to regain the lead. It's tied for the first time since 2-2 in the 6th minute of the game back in the first quarter.
Nice work by Yazo Scaparata, able to keep Kesey at bay as Pinto was a little bit late getting out of the substitution box and onto the field.
Bonacci checking on for Yale. He'll get the ball back from Kesey. And here are the Bulldogs. On the attack defensively there is Pinto for Brown. Again in Cyclo, Kemp, Yazo Scaparata, Santangelo, and Tullett. So the Bears without the services of Lawrence, it appears, here in the third quarter, as Santangelo has really replaced him for the most part here in the second half.
Yeah, trying to see if I could spot him.
Now Lawrence seems to be on the sideline, so might have been a tactical change. Under a minute left in the quarter. Reeves being chased by Yazo Scaparata, who stays with him step for step. And there's the stall warning. First we've seen. So here comes the shot clock. So Yale now 25 to shoot. Eric Scott, first time we've seen it for either squad. Over for Bonacci, back for Scott. 15 to shoot for Yale. Kesey working in against Yazo Scaparata. Nice slide from Kemp. Ball's on the ground. Santangelo shoves him down, and Cyclo. Santangelo steps over the ball. 3 to shoot. Yale's not going to get a shot off.
Nope.
There's the shot clock violation.
And look at Kelly. It looked to be almost a delay of game, and here the Bears come in transition. Yazo Scaparata.
Oh, they're gonna make him come all the way back.
Well, and Kelly's upset because the
so
Yale
is
player
Lars
rolled
Tiffany.
the ball about 10 yards away.
Yep.
And
Should have been a delay of game.
and that allows Yale to get all their personnel back in position. Heads up play by the Yale player, but the referee has got to be on top of that.
So we'll see what the Bears can do here with 15 seconds left in the quarter. It appears they're...
Well, they've closed out the first 2 quarters with a goal in under 10 seconds. Can they do it a third time?
Panapinto from Tills, under 5 seconds left. Panapinto working his way in. Walks in front, is pushed. He went into the crease. I don't think it would have mattered. The quarter comes to an end, so we head to the 4th. David and Goliath, perhaps, or is this...
I think it's more of a Goliath versus Goliath.
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object. 10-10, win the quarter, win the game. With the 4th quarter awaiting from here at Stevenson-Pinsent. We'll step aside with quarter 4 after this. Now there's Dylan Malloy. Couple goals and a helper here today. He's a point away from being tied with Andy Towers, one of the legends here. 203 career points. He's at 202 is Dylan Malloy. And we are getting going here in quarter 4. Face-off control. What a hit! Oh! Yazo Scaparata lifted the elbow. And a tough one for the Bears, who are going to find themselves down a man early in the 4th quarter. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. And Yale lobbying, not sure what they're lobbying for. They got the flag.
They were just, I think, upset with the hit. And, you know, it was a penalty. It was a high hit there by Yazo Scaparata.
I think they're saying it should be locked in.
What the Bears were looking for was a retaliation foul after that. Jack Kelly came storming out of the net trying to plead his case for that. Referees having a discussion, but what a 3rd quarter for the Bears, Mike.
As they sort this one out, Yazo Scaparata.
So saying cross-check to the head, unreleasable.
Yep.
So the Bears man-down unit is going to be put to the test here.
Yale's perfect on the man up as well today, but we talk about that quarter. Brown now out ground balling Yale, out shooting Yale, and out face-offing Yale. Perfect 6 for 6 at the X were the Bears, but now they find themselves down a man and it locked in for Yale. And we use the term, the Bears man down unit's been okay this year, but has special teams has been a little bit off, certainly today, as the windup is saved by Jack Kelly, and that's huge, Mike.
Well, Mike, so often your best penalty killer is your goalie. Jack Kelly, much better second half, and
Michael Panapinto couldn't handle the pass. The man down unit's going to have to get back out there, and here comes Gustafson. Just 30 seconds left on the Yazo Scaparata penalty.
Well, Mike, I like what I see on the bench. Everyone coming over to Panapinto, kind of saying, you know what, those kind of things are going to happen. Tough, blustery day. Just get back after it, forget about it, move on.
15 left on the foul. Yazo Scaparata waiting at the pylon in front of the Yale bench to sprint back onto the field. Ball played back out. The windup by Scott. Turns it right. Kesey extended there by Kemp. Back out. Nice work there by Alec Tullett to force him back as the penalty is erased. Shot and wide and turned over by the Bulldogs.
Huge 1 minute there for the Bears. Come out unscathed after the big hit from Yazo Scaparata. Can the Bears keep the momentum going? They're on a 4-0 run.
Yazo Scaparata sprinting up that far sideline, gives the ball to Dylan Malloy, and the Bears bench arms up saying, let's slow things down. Play this 6-on-6, tied at 10. He said win the quarter, win the game, and certainly that is the case here as the Bears have come back from a 4-goal deficit twice. They were down by as many as 4, I think 9-5 and then 10-6.
Yep.
And it was 10-6 for a little while before the Bears got going in the last 6-7 minutes of that 3rd quarter. The feed in front, Malloy, the shot to score! First lead of the day for the Brown Bears as Dylan Malloy finishes the hat trick ties Andy Towers and gives Brown its first lead of the afternoon.
Well, Mike, Malloy and the Bears being a little bit more unselfish with the ball. Great work behind the net. Malloy finding himself open. We told you he could shoot from all angles that time. A little hip shot, able to beat Hufford. Malloy with the hat trick, goal number 37, and tying Andy Towers, who was supposed to be in attendance today. He was talking about it earlier this week. As Malloy continues his ascent up the chart of Brown's all-time leading scores, 203 points now for Dylan Malloy.
And still a full season to go.
Yeah, and a heck of a lot of games hopefully this year.
Here comes Garral, wins the face-off, flips it behind his head. Here's Kemp, lost the handle, picks it back up and lost it. Keating was able to swipe it away. Yale will come back the other way. Right to left come the Bulldogs. Through the midfield, Alessi for Nathan. Nathan back near side. The turn, Cymbalista shot off the iron. Yale will get their personnel squared away as Jack Kelly's best friend today has certainly been the pipes.
Absolutely. Things a little topsy-turvy there for a moment. The shot with a lot of pace, beating Kelly, but hitting the post yet again.
How's that Brown Lacrosse also doing?
Growing and growing by the minute.
On the ball for Yale is Alessi. Penapinto doing a good job of harassing him. Now the ball on that far side for Bonacci, and now he's watched by Larkin Kemp through the crease. Comes back to the near side, Kemp trying to dislodge it, and now it comes back around. Kesey looking in front, shot was altered by Browns and Cyclo and sails wide.
They really did a nice job that time, not allowing Kesey any real opportunity to get a clean shot off. Again, the Bears polls like such quick hands, and something that's really valued by Coach Tiffany and his staff. Make things very difficult for attackers.
11-10's been a very kind score to Yale. They beat Princeton and Penn by that margin, needing overtime against Penn to win 11-10. That shot bounces in. Kelly makes the stop. Cymbalista backing it up.
And 11 goals, Mike. That's the most Yale's allowed this season. Previous to that, they allowed 10 a couple of times, but first time an opponent's been able to put more than that on the scoreboard against these Bulldogs.
Cymbalista, the re-entry. Prigmore watching it for Brown. Thrown back around. Bonacci for Alessi. Alessi gets a step, tried to feed. Nice job by Panapinto. Shot saved by Kelly. Ground ball picked up by Alec Tullett. And Jack Kelly in the crease has it.
Well, heads up play though by Tullett. Actually, that was Lawrence.
It was Lawrence,
yeah. It was Lawrence behind
28,
the net.
not 25.
Yep, he got the ground ball and laid it in perfectly where only Kelly could get it. So we'll see what the Bears could do. Can they extend their lead?
Brendan Caputo working in, takes a shot. It was altered by the defense. Big hit, and that should be ground ball.
And it will.
Yeah, mishandled there by Yale's Robert Mooney. Tried to clear it. It kind of came off of the back of, I want to say, Panapinto.
Well, but the Bears also ultra aggressive there, Mike. As soon as they lost control of the ball, going right after it again.
Caputo from Panapinto, who will likely step off for Bailey Tills at some point. Caputo with the ball. Looks left, mishandled. Ballistri races over, keeps it in bounds, and will reset with Caputo out about a couple yards to the left of the restraining line. Here's Tills.
Yeah, Tills got in for Graham. Panapinto still out there.
He gives it to Malloy. Working in against Keating. Turns back to his left and scores! Fooled everyone! Did Dylan Malloy, showing perhaps why he will be one of the favorites for Ivy League Player of the Year, if not greater honors.
Oh, yeah.
What a finish.
Yeah, not just Ivy League Player of the Year, but the Tewaaraton as well. Malloy, that time the high release. Again, we said he could score in so many different ways. There's just another display. Malloy now with the last 3 goals of the game. He's got 4 for the afternoon. And the Bulldogs reeling a little bit now.
Brown outscoring Yale so far here in this second half, 6-1. Garral and Nathan, and the Bears win another face-off. It's whipped upfield. Keating bumped shoulder to shoulder by Henry Blinn, but on the ball is Michael Quinn, the captain of the Bulldogs, back for the goaltender Hufford.
Just unfortunate there, the Bears couldn't keep possession, Mike. Is Yale back on its heels right now?
Hufford at the restraining line. Looks ahead and gets the ball to Eric Scott. Scott splits a couple of defenders, works his way in and scores! Kind of a silly play there from a couple of Bears that seemed to be a little unsettled working into the box. Nobody picked up Scott. He went 5-hole, and the Bulldogs on the board.
Well, yeah, he ran right past Pinto. Tullett missed on the swipe, and then Scott from that range is not going to miss. As Yale had been held scoreless for more than 15 minutes. Last goal had come at 3:55 of the third quarter. That was 5:21 of the fourth. Second of the day for Scott. Yale pulls back within one. Another critical face-off coming up.
It's one of those games you can tune into the last 5 minutes and it might tell the whole story.
Probably the last minute, you might see 3 goals.
Garral on the face-off, wins it again. We'll go all the way back to Jack Kelly. Kelly comes back to his right for Lawrence. And ahead for Yazo Scaparrotta. Has a couple of Bulldogs around him. Dodges past 2 of them and Gilsini. And will give it to Dylan Malloy. Malloy for Graham. Bears holding a 1-goal lead. Did not take a lead until this fourth quarter.
Yeah, first lead came at 1:55 of the fourth.
Tills, Graham, and now Caputo for Yazo Scaparrotta. For Dylan Malloy. Uses the screen, works around Keating, throws one towards center, and shot wide by Blinn.
Oh, going with the little Thompson brothers, kind of near assist that time for Dylan Malloy, the one-handed left-hander.
Tills, chased by Keating, who does a good job of sliding out to the right side of Hufford. Graham, and now here is Caputo. Caputo forced back to his left. The wind up, the swim dodge, the work, the shot. Partially altered, I think, as Malloy got a little scoop in on Hufford, and Yale now with the ball. Needs to clear and a chance perhaps to tie.
Yeah, Mattini got a piece of Malloy there as he nearly was able to finish with the underhanded shot.
Takes so much, as Brown soccer coach Pat Laughlin likes to say, when you go down early, it takes so much to get back into it and chase the game. You have to hope the Bears have enough to play 60 minutes and hold Yale at bay.
Yeah, the Bears love this up-tempo style, Mike, and they have the energy and have shown that they have the ability to play that type of style for a full 60.
Yazo Scaparrotta on the ball for Kesey, who had sprinted in from the midfield. Watched there by Larkin Kemp. Comes back for Bonacci. Halfway through just about the fourth. Nice switch with Warble and Yazo Scaparrotta. Reeves, held by Tullett off to that far side, denies the shot attempt. Up for Kesey, and now on is Eric Scott. Scott winds up and shoots that one out and over the top. Cymbalista to his left, the near side of Brown goaltender Jack Kelly. Well, almost taken away there by Tullett, who watches Reeves, and now they'll send it back. Kesey over for Bonacci. Works in against Warble, does Bonacci. Turns behind the goal, spins back to his left. And now they'll rotate it to X. This is where Reeves likes, from where he likes to operate. Walsh and Tullett both, Kelly and Tullett. The turn, the shot, and Kelly comes up with the stop.
Yeah, Kelly reading that one as Reeves trying to pick out that top corner over the right-hand shoulder. But Kelly up to the task. Huge save past the midway point of this fourth quarter. Warble now on the clear, loses his footing again. We've seen that a couple of times.
Yep. And on the ball are the Bulldogs. Encyclo came up for the hit. It didn't connect. Here comes Yale. The turn back towards center misses its mark. Warble has it. He's crunched on the loose ball,
looks
however,
like
is Brendan Caputo. No call for the high hit. 5 Bulldogs looking to see if the Brown Bears are going to want the timeout, but Caputo running around gets it over to Larkin Kemp. What poise out of the Bears.
Oh, huge play there by Caputo.
And now we'll see what the Bears do with Blinn setting it back for Caputo. You know, for 6'5", Mike, a lot of grace under pressure from Brendan Caputo.
Oh, Mike, and it's a guy who over the years, sometimes we've seen him rush it, get a little crazy out there, but Caputo in control the whole time and coming up with a huge save basically there for the Bears. He took on 4 guys at once there for a moment.
And the Bears were essentially down a man. I mean, Warble had been hit and kind of had the wind knocked out of him. He was not re-entering play. I mean, re-entering the play, I should say. Carson Song on the field for the Bears as we're into crunch time here. Inside 5:20, Malloy for Caputo. Bears ahead by a goal. Caputo pushing his way in, back towards his left, fires a shot. And maybe trying to do too much. Shot is altered. Caputo back. Malloy in front looking for Song, and it'll be called a turnover on the Bears. Bears are saying it was a shot, or the fans are at least lobbying for it. The bench is not.
Yeah, it looked like a lob pass inside that was just missed, even though it did wind up behind the net.
Inside 5, 12-11, and it's turned over.
Well, no. Malloy just crushed Blinn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Almost turned over.
Probably should have been as that ball was left on the turf by Alisi.
Alisi has the ball against Encyclo on that far side. Yale completing the clear, trailing by 1, and inside 4.5 to play here in what has lived up to its billing, folks, as truly the game of the year here in the Ivy League thus far. And just think, these two teams might see each other again.
They could see each other twice more if things work out a certain way. So,
on the field is Joseph Sessa, the diminutive 5'5" first year for the Bulldogs out of Slate Hill, New York, working against Penapinto. Gets the pass back. Scott around Encyclo, winds up and off the pipe. The ball's going to ricochet out towards midfield and out of bounds. The Bears back it up. It's considered a shot. And Henry Blinn turned around and outstretched his stick to retain or regain the possession for the Bears.
Yeah, a little crafty play there by Blinn. Took a little bit of a shot on Quinn there as Quinn was trying to line it up at the midfield line. That forced Quinn to miss it. And now the Bears on the attack once again. Tills with under 4 to play. The Bears leading this 1-1.
Well, I'm going to say the obvious. This is a pretty big possession for the Brown attack. 3.5 to play. Here's Caputo. Wants it, drives the shot up and over the top. Bears going to settle Caputo down a little bit.
Yeah, they need to work for a better quality shot, Mike. I know Caputo is trying to maybe put a final nail in the coffin of the Bulldogs, but still plenty of time left, and you want to get the best shot possible. Go to your guys that can finish like they've been doing it all season long. Blinn, Ballistri, Malloy. They've all found the back of the net past Hufford today.
Here's Graham. Tries to get a step on Gilsini and fires it up and over the top. Bears continuing to attempt to pepper some shots in, but that one well wide, as was Caputo's last offering.
Well, now it becomes the kind of gamesmanship that some coaches have been frustrated throughout this season. Is, you know, are teams really trying to put shots on net, or are they simply missing wide on purpose to waste time and avoid a stall?
Blinn.
And all those advocates of the shot clock, Mike, this is why.
Ballistri working his way in, has a step and scores! Found his way up and over Hufford, and Browns lead back to 2. I didn't even see the release, Mike. Those are quick hands.
Oh, Mike, Ballistri finding a little bit of space, running towards his right, and all these guys could shoot, feet set on the run. Ballistri picking out a corner and just delivering an absolute laser beam past Hufford. Hat trick for Ballistri, 36 of the season. The Bears up by 2 with 2:32.
And a tip of the hat to our ILDN and ESPN3 crew for following that one almost ball the way in.
Now
as the Bears lead is 2, and what a face-off moment here for Will Garral and the Bears.
Kemp and Tullett on the wings. They've been so crucial to the face-off unit.
This one is won by Mackey, and then he lost his footing. Ball comes to the near side, chopped out of bounds. It should be Brown ball. They're going to call a push on the Bears.
Or they saying Garal hit it out. Either way, it's going to be Yale ball.
Garal unhappy. Lars Tiffany says settle down, don't worry about it. 2:20 left. Yale found themselves in a similar position against Penn. They were down 2 with under 2 and came back to tie it, and they were down 1, I'm sorry. Came back to tie it with a man-up goal late and then won it in overtime. Scott fighting his way in, turns. Here comes Larkin Kemp. Tries to work it around. Scott comes back to his left and feeds it to Bonacci. Under 2 minutes to play. Bonacci for Kesey. Encyclo tries to get a piece of it. Bonacci goes down. They're going to call a flag on Encyclo as the shot whips wide.
Not sure what more Encyclo could have done there, Mike. Did he get contact to the head? They're going to say a push.
A push. At this juncture of the game to throw that flag is...
Well, Mike, we've seen the Bears kill off a 1-minute penalty earlier in this half. The unit has been up to the task. The way Jack Kelly's been playing here
in the second half.
See what they can come up with 1:44 left. So it'll be Encyclo, 30-second push to put Yale on the man up.
Well,
just 30 seconds, so.
Yale will enter the ball. Lawrence Gustafson, Tullett, Yazo Scaparata, and Kemp for the Bears in front of course, Jack Kelly. Already down to 20 seconds left on the Encyclo penalty. The windup by Kesey is altered and up and over the top.
Yeah, Gustafson, a nice slide there at the last second to make things a little bit trickier for him.
Bears are going to get Panapinto down towards the pylon at the Yale bench, as he will no doubt be sprinting into position. Ball up top, Kesey, the shot, the score! Yale back within 1 with the man-up goal, 84 seconds to play, and they will not go gently into the good night, will the unbeaten Bulldogs.
So it turns out to be another critical foul against the Bears. Kesey was lining that one up again from range. First of the day for Kesey, his 24th of the season. And it comes at 14:36 of the fourth quarter.
Well, Garal and Mackey to center. Connor Mackey, the sophomore, at 6'1". Garal, who's been solid, if not spectacular, in the second half. Mackey won the last one. With the work of Garal, ball off to the wing, and Larkin Kemp has the ball. Will play it back for Jack Kelly. Kelly out across to Yazo Scaparata. Good sight line from the Brown netminder. Yazo Scaparata ahead for Bailey Tills, and we're down to the final minute of play. Can the Bears hang on to a 1-goal lead and put the Bulldogs away?
Yazo Scaparata off, Caputo back on as Malloy holds on the far side.
And keep an eye, and there, I was going to say, a timeout's got to be coming.
Yeah, they had a quick double team Nathan.
Time out Brown, 1-goal game. And we've got to go to break. We'll be back. Crunch time. The final minute. Can Brown knock off unbeaten Yale? We'll find out when we return here on the Ivy League Digital Network and ESPN3. Well, as they would say at the Kentucky Derby, down the stretch they come. 13-12 our score. What a game. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. The Bears leading by a goal. 48 seconds to play. Breaking out of the timeout, I'm sure the message in that huddle was stay cool.
Stay cool, take care of the ball. You know Yale's going to be ultra aggressive here. Already trying to set up a double team on Dylan Malloy. He'll flip it across for Graham, and here we go.
To Caputo. And the netminder, Hufford's going to be, extending out. Caputo, swim dodge, tries to get the ball back to the corner, and I think Lars Tiffany wants another timeout. He'll get it now, 34 seconds left in the game. And, regulation barring...
Yep. Well, if anything, Mike, that could be wind up being a very smart timeout as well. Is with 34 seconds left, the likelihood of getting the stall warning put on you at this point. I mean, obviously it wouldn't matter that much with that little time left, but still, as Caputo was kind of running into some trouble there on the near sideline, Coach Tiffany calling timeout, wants to settle things down and make sure everyone is on the same page.
Well, Mike, 34 seconds left. The question I think for a lot of folks and certainly on my mind is you've got some very sure-handed guys on that field. I don't think it's necessarily as much as being in control when you're under duress. It's being in control when you have to release and making sure that the pass doesn't sail, making sure that the pass is on the mark, because you're going to have to execute that pass with at least one, possibly two, and maybe three men around you.
Well, and if you happen to lose the ball or turn it over, you want to make sure your guys are in the best possible position to retreat defensively. As we've seen Yale today have the ability to score in transition and when things have been a little bit unsettled and helter-skelter out there.
Well, Mike, we were wondering why the timeout. Well, the Bears bring Dylan Malloy to the near side for the ball, and they bring Larkin Kemp back onto the field in case. I mean, Kemp is certainly one of the better release men. Malloy lobs it over the head of Till. Smart play.
Yep, done on purpose that time, not a mispass.
Tills splits a couple defenders, working his way in, and will pass the ball off to Malloy. 20 seconds left. The shot clock will not turn on. Malloy working toward the goal. Empty net score! Dylan Malloy! The exclamation point! Brown lead is 2.
Work to perfection that time, Mike. The Bears, some nifty passing, good ball movement, guys on the run. You get it to your best player, and he delivers again. Dylan Malloy for the 5th time today. This time it's the empty netter that perhaps has put the Bulldogs away.
And Malloy will be all alone now. 4th place all-time in scoring, passing one of the greats, Andy Towers. To the face-off X. The Bears win this, the game will be on ice. Garral grinding it out, feeds it back. They win the face-off over the head of Larkin Kemp, who gets the ground ball back. Over for Ballistri, and that should do it, folks. Number 1 has been knocked off, and the Brown Bears have beaten Yale for the first time since 2009.
Oh, what a moment, Mike. Things did not look good after the first half, but the Bears responding like we felt they could. They come through with the victory today, knock off the number 1 team in the nation, and hopefully pave the road to hosting the Ivy League tournament in a couple of weeks.
Well, those fans from the far wing, the student section, will empty around their Brown Bears, and why not? Cause for celebration here on College Hill as the Brown Bears, with a 14-12 come from behind victory over the number 1 team and previously unbeaten Yale Bulldogs. We've got to take a timeout post-game when we return right after this. Where the Brown Bears and the Yale Bulldogs will shake them up after what indeed was the game of the year. Alongside our entire ILDN ESPN3 crew and Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. Final stats as the Bears outscore Yale 8-3 in the second half. Final shots, Yale 42 to Brown's 37. Shots on goal, 21 for the Bears, 23 for the Yale Bulldogs. 11 saves for Jack Kelly, 7 for Phil Hufford of the Bulldogs. Turnovers were 17-14, Brown and Yale. Clears, Brown was 13 of 15, Yale 18 of 21. The most impressive number of the day perhaps came at the faceoff X. Brown 20 of 29, which means they won 11 of 13 faceoffs in the second half. Mike, final thoughts. Dylan Malloy with a 5-goal, 1-assist performance. Kyler Ballistri, 3-1 for him. Just a terrific second half for the Bears, who proved they could answer the bell.
Well, Mike, I think that was the nicest thing to see out of the Bears here this afternoon. We wondered how they would respond after being down 9-6 at the break. Things didn't seem to be going their way, but whatever they did at the half, the little adjustments they made, they seemed to be much more settled and definitely were able to play their style of lacrosse down the stretch. And they were able to take out Yale today. But again, I think this is only round one of what might be a couple of rounds we see of this matchup this season.
So with that, we say farewell from Stevenson Penn Since, and we tell you that today's game has been produced by the Ivy League Digital Network. Any rebroadcast or resubmission of the accounts and descriptions of this broadcast without the express written consent of Brown University Athletics and the Ivy League Digital Network is strictly prohibited. Our many thanks to our producer and director, Kevin Hession, our executive producer, Michael Neely, and our entire outstanding ILDN and ESPN3 crew here today. Our final score again, there it is on the screen, folks. Brown 14, Yale 12. Yale unbeaten no more. The Bears all alone in first place in the Ivy League. For my broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso, and our entire team, I'm Mike Rubin saying so long from Stevenson Penn Since Field on the heels of an instant classic. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great night. Well, they got a big brown bear out there at midfield here on the ILDN. Brown with a 14-12 victory over Yale. On alumni weekend, the Brown Staters in the house and very happy with his result. And we are told we are going to have head coach Lars Tiffany in just a couple of minutes. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin, and boy, I'll tell you, a lot of people were wondering, I think you and I included, which Brown team we would see before the game. Then we were wondering which Brown team we would see at halftime. And then we were wondering which Brown team we would see answer the bell in the second half. I think a lot of our questions have been answered.
Yeah, they certainly were. And, you know, again, a fantastic finish. The Bears were able to dig deep, showed their resolve, and truly showed that they belong with the nation's elite this season. Huge win for Coach Tiffany and his Bears as Coach tries to make it up into the press box, getting mobbed.
Those are his teammates.
Yep, by his former teammates in attendance here today. Again, as you mentioned, alumni weekend. And just a phenomenal performance by his Bears, especially in the second half when things weren't going their way, let's face it. They were able to turn things around and come through with a big win today.
Well, he'll be all smiles when he gets up here, as too will his men, who now have to reset the emotion, Mike, with Providence College here on Tuesday.
Yeah, another tough in-state rival coming into Stevenson Penn Since Field on Tuesday night, but you got to believe that they'll enjoy this one for the moment and come back as strong as ever on Tuesday night.
So I'm gonna keep talking for a second as we set up Coach Tiffany up here as the Brown Bears on the heels of this 14-12 victory, and we were wondering there for a second if Coach Tiffany was going to make it up here, because with all the alumni in the house, Coach, we weren't sure if they were going to let you up the stand. So this head coach Lars Tiffany postgame here at Stevenson Penn Since. Okay, so first off, how's that Brown Lacrosse ulcer doing? Is it okay? Are you feeling good?
No ulcers. You know, a little anxious, but no ulcers. This is the way we play. We play fearless, and so why start feeling fear? You know, late in the game. Just keep playing, Kyler Ballestri's goal to make it 13-11. Some teams wouldn't shoot there,
Right.
We play 57 to 58 minutes of fast, then we stall. And obviously the last goal we got was during the stall. But, just be fearless. We draw a penalty late. Yeah, you can argue it or not, but we're still going to play physical.
So when you think of, we were wondering, and I'll be honest, we talked about this, you and I, in earlier moments this season, but this was the first time the Brown Bears had to dig deep playing from behind during a game, facing a deficit, facing that level of adversity. And you've said coming out of the huddle that you've always felt the confidence being exuded by the men. Was that there today?
Absolutely. It's down 3 or 4 goals just before halftime, and then obviously we the first and second quarters, it was great to get a little momentum builder right there with, Grawl making that great play and then Dylan making that goal at the end of the first half. But, we're still down 3. We're not playing well on defense. Yale's kind of having their way with us. If we don't slide, they're picking us apart. If we do slide, they're picking us apart. They're getting transition goals early in the first couple goals, and so I was a bit perplexed as the defensive coach at halftime. Okay, and I leaned on my assistants. And fortunately, we came up with a recipe. I don't think it's a perfect recipe, but we came up with something. And I give Alec Tullett a ton of credit because we asked him to do a lot of ground balls in the middle of the field and play up and down. And then we gave him the Reeves assignment. And JJ did a decent job, but then Reeves was getting comfortable with JJ. And so I think Tullett, to me, was the big factor on the defensive end, keeping things quiet.
Besides the defense, Will Garral and Ted Ottens in that second half. I think the Brown Bears lose one face-off in the second half. The other one that kind of got kicked out of bounds on the sideline. But overall, that really seemed to change the complexion of the game. And Yale didn't have the ball as often in that second half.
And that's true. You can say, well, they scored 9 goals and then they got 3 in the second half. They just didn't have the ball as much. They're a good offense, and we got to get better defensively, certainly, in the 6v6. And they exposed some things today, and that's what you expect from the number 1 team in the country. Jack Kelly got into a groove. He'll tell you it wasn't his best day, but he made some saves big as the second half went along, and that was really critical. But the key is the mindset of the men. Just keep playing. Believe in the system. Keep playing fast until the last 2 minutes, and if we're fortunate to be winning.
Now, the ambient noise. There was probably more attention on this game than any game that's been played at Brown in a long, long time, nationally, both in New England, around the local scene. How did you work that in as an advantage for the team, especially when you look out there and see 3,000 fans around the field? I mean, it's a great feeling, but it's also a little different.
It is different, and I had to admit that to the men, because we say, hey, the next game, next opponent, block everything else out. I know that's coach speak, but we've had a really mentally strong team this year, and they've been able to move in the next game. But for this one, I said, fellas, I'll admit, okay, it's a little different. The ticket requests are full. There's going to be this incredible atmosphere. It's spring weekend here at Brown, and the student body is going to be out here in force. Our guys are going to enjoy a little bit of spring weekend tonight. We got to give them tonight. They'll have a little bit of fun and enjoy this, and then certainly got to get back ready tomorrow because we got Providence. But you couldn't. I can't lie to the guys. I know this is different, and it's a team we haven't beaten in 7 years. Since 2009. So this, but we don't talk about that with the men because they weren't here 7 years ago. They weren't here 4 years ago.
Right.
And so it was just play our game. And last year our game was only fast, and Yale and Denver exposed us late in the year to make them play 6v6. What's our game now, when we say play our game, is transition and 6v6, that we feel we're getting better there. We're still not as good as we need to be in the half field because, our signature card is go as fast and as furious as we can. But we showed some plays in the second half in the half field, both ends, that helped us win this game.
Well, one last question. Being a Brown lacrosse man yourself, a Brown Stater, class of 90, a 2-time captain, what does it mean for you on a personal level to turn around and see all these people, all of your teammates, the 91 team, the alumni game, the students across the field? What does that mean?
It's you've hit something that I try to embrace for a couple moments during the game. I don't want to let my guard down because again I'm coaching the defense, but there were a few times where I did look around and I looked up into the stands. I looked to the far side and I saw standing room only. I don't know, jumping over people's shoulders try to watch the game. I'm like, wow, look what Brown Lacrosse, look what our men have created. They've created this scenario, and let's embrace it. Let's not let this be a one and done. We want more of these scenarios, and we fortunately got the win. But yeah, it's special. There's no question. It could go both ways.
For sure.
Losing as a Brown Lacrosse alum, as a Brown Lacrosse coach, is more painful than it should be. And but winning certainly is ecstatic. Now, I do want to say one thing. I don't know if you guys noticed that Mike Pimentel, our strength coach, just proposed, and she said yes on the 50 right there at midfield after the game was over. He'd been telling us he was going to propose to her, and he just did it at the midline. And so that was the last celebration. You saw our team hugging him, jumping all over him. That was a really special moment.
So a great day all around for Brown
Exactly.
Lacrosse. You're not going to enjoy any spring weekend because you've got to get ready for Providence College.
Exactly. They're a tough team this year, and so we're excited about getting another chance to play. But this is a stretch, 5 games in 2 weeks here. Yep. And so here we go.
A lot of lacrosse. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate you taking some time
Thanks
for us.
having me
That's head coach Lars Tiffany, folks. And with that, we are going to step aside for the rest of the weekend until Tuesday when the Bears host the Friars. For head coach Lars Tiffany, for our entire outstanding ILDN crew, our executive producer Mike Neely, our producer and director Kevin Hession, I'm Mike Rubin saying good night from Stevenson Pinsent's Field, 14-12. The Bears knock off the #1 team in the land. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great weekend.